What's up, guys? This is Chris here from Honest Outlaw, and we are here on this little windy-ish day. It's pretty nice outside, and we're gonna give you a pretty sweet rifle, I think. So, I'm not the biggest AK guy, but I do like them. I like them enough to definitely review them, and I think they're probably the second best fighting rifle in the world. Sorry guys, but I like the AR. It is what it is. The AK though certainly has its place, and it's one of the most popular, one of the most durable, and one of the most used and time-tested rifles in history, let alone today. Could you defend yourself super effectively with an AK? Yeah, you certainly can. And today I think we have an option for you guys that I think is gonna be pretty interesting. We're gonna be going over the Alpha series from Midwest Industries. This is actually a gun that we got from Midwest Industries, so we appreciate them sending that. Does not guarantee a positive review. Today we're gonna be shooting this gun on the range. We're gonna be putting 100 rounds through it, and I haven't shot 7.62 in a while, so it should be a pretty good time. Now, this is a Wasser 10 with a whole bunch of cool stuff on it from Midwest Industries, including their M-LOK handguard. Now, if you're into the AK Alpha, if you're in any of the souped up AKs that you can see, a whole bunch of YouTube videos, you watch Grand Thumb or Larry Vickers or something, but you just can't get into one, you can actually get into this one pretty affordably. As kitted out as we see here, it's somewhere in the area of 1,500 bucks, minus the optic, of course. I think that's a pretty good deal considering how extreme some of the prices can be on the AKs, especially since AKs are supposed to be sort of affordable, and when I grew up, were super affordable. It's weird to see like super bougie, Gucci AKs nowadays that are like $3,000 and $4,000, because when I was younger, you could get them for like 200 bucks. So it's kind of cool to see one that you can get that is super slick, super fast, looks mean, and has all the accessories that you would want in a gun for a fighting rifle anyway. And let's start with the front here. We've got a brake on here for a 7.60x39. That's pretty sweet. We have their pretty slick M-LOK rail here that has a Picatinny rail on the top, so if you want to put your light there, if you want to put a forward sitting aim point, which is very popular on the AKs, you know, similar to the Ultimac rail, you can do that as well. It looks a lot like an SLR Rifle Works kind of, but it's actually pretty affordable. I think it's like 300 bucks if you, or 200 bucks, sorry, if you want to go online and get it yourself. We have a BCM vertical grip here, and then we have sling mounts, which is nice, and sling mounts in the area, which I like as well. I like them back from the handguard, and I like that just because of the ease of use. We have a top cover on here with Picatinny rail as well, which we have our aim point attached to. We have an enlarged safety on the firing side there. We have a Tango down grip. We have a pretty decent trigger, and what I really think is the star of the show, because these style of AK stocks can be very hard to find, and you can get this for like 285 bucks, which is pretty cool, and all this stuff is American made as well. Cheek piece adjustable, length of pull adjustable, and it folds, which is pretty awesome. You also have a rail if you want to put like a RAS rail or whatever, the optic rail on the side if you're into that kind of thing, and then we've got a pretty slick Cerakote paint job as well. Now, overall, I think the AK has a lot of pros, including long-term durability and overall reliability, not only in adverse conditions, with pretty much everything. We're going to test that today. We're going to shoot 150 rounds through it in an incredibly easy environment, so hopefully we shouldn't have any problems. Now, again, I said 7.62x39, but we're rocking some PMags, and we're going to be using PMC bronze, and we're also going to be using some Silver Bear 7.62x39. I like Silver Bear a lot as far as the Russian style ammunition, just simply because I found in my life it's the most reliable. But also PMC seems to be good. I'm not really sure. I haven't shot much of it, but that's the only thing I can find in my area. In rural Iowa, you might be surprised to know this, but AKs are not incredibly popular, and AK ammunition is almost impossible to find. So that's what we got for the test today. Now, aside from some ergonomic issues compared to the AR, the AK is certainly a formidable platform to use for home defense and self-defense, and I think it's a great tool, especially considering a lot of people are not interested in the AR and they want something else, and I think the AK is an awesome way to go with that. Overall though, the reason why I agreed to do the video on this is simply because when I saw this freaking thing, it looked so cool. And that's kind of part of the game, right? If you get a gun that works well, you get a gun that has the accessories you need for home defense, it's reliable and accurate, assuming this is, we'll find out. But if those are the case, then what else is there other than personal opinion and looks? And I like this gun because it looks cool, and I'm not afraid to tell you. Before we get into the video though, I do want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. You paid for the ammo for this video and we appreciate that. We're not always supported by the gun industry because they don't always love our honest content. We make it for you guys and not them. If you want to support us, please go down to the link in the description and sign up. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter named Iowa. It's the YSS. Those kids could really use your help, so please go down there and donate to those kids. All right, so we got the AK Alpha here for Midwest Industries at about 50 yards here, and we're just gonna plink at some of the steel targets and see if my aim point is close enough to shoot with or if I have to actually zero it.
Yep.
That's convenient because we're just on an
nice.
AR. All right, so far, it's about a 9-pound gun. So even though it's 7.62 by 39, it controls the recoil real well. Now, the first thing I really like about the gun is gonna be the stock, and we're gonna keep using that, but I love the freaking stock on this AK just simply because I hate the generic stock you normally get on them. And this one here feels a lot like an AR style stock. It brings a lot of AR style ergonomics to the AK, which I really appreciate. And like I said, for under 300 bucks, that's pretty dope. And the rail is also super awesome. It's a little bit thicker, so it's nice for my bigger hands. Putting the vert grip on there gives you a position to kind of press into on a barricade, which is real nice.
Well, when you only have to load 25 rounds,
Cerakote makes that magazine catch real stiff, but that's what happens when you Cerakote stuff, is you gotta wear it off. All right, so we're out at the 75-yard line here, and we'll just shoot offhand and see what we can do. That's pretty accurate, I would say.
yeah, super.
A lot of debate about AK's accuracy because, you know, maybe they're 3 MOA, maybe they're 4, maybe they're 5, whatever. But in a self-defense situation, honestly, like if you're not talking about a military engagement, I don't think it matters that much. I mean, if you're looking at a precision headshot at what, like 15 yards inside a home defense situation, that's kind of what I think about as pure accuracy. Maybe a hunting situation, I don't know why you'd be hunting with an AK, but you're probably having a good time if you are. Huh. 20-round mags go quick, don't they?
They do.
Well, so far, combination of like a $700 Wasser and maybe like $600 in Midwest parts, like the Alpha series, bang, bang, bang. So far, I don't see a reason to not own this. It's a fun time so far, I have to admit. That was fast, 120 rounds. All right, so 120 rounds is not much of a test so far. Hopefully we'll do 1,000 rounds through this at some point. But I can tell you about what I liked and disliked for sure right away ergonomically, and that's kind of the point considering the AK series is about upgrading ergonomics to your AK. So as far as the rail goes, I like the fact that it's slick. I like the fact that it feels like it's easy to grip. I also like that even though we did, what do we do, 4 mags pretty quickly, which is, you know, about the equivalent of what people usually shoot at a range session. We didn't experience really any heat anywhere on the rail where I couldn't touch it. And that's really nice, especially considering that it's an aluminum rail. Now, one spot where it was a little warm is obviously the sling mount that's connected to the gas block there. But other than that, not too bad. Charging handle worked great. The AK top rail the rail. We actually have a rail on top of the actual top cover there, and now traditionally those have some issues, and so far we had no loss of zero or anything like that. However, there's like 3 other ways to mount a optic on here if you choose not to go that route. If you want to mount it to the hand guard there, or if you want to use one of their other mounts, which they also have several that can work with this as well. So I like that personally. However, I really feel like the star of the show is going to be the freaking stock, and I mentioned that a couple times, but again, that's why I got the gun, and I feel like this is probably going to be going on a lot of my AKs in the future, simply because I really like the way it looks. I really like the cant on the stock itself. It doesn't have a U in it at all, and I'm a big guy, and I've got pretty big shoulders, and AK furniture just never fits me. And that's why I like the more modernized American versions of the AK, because you get a more of an AR style grip. The grips on AKs are always too small for me, and the stocks are always too short, and they're always very uncomfortable. Point back here always points in my chest, which is obviously doable, and you can shoot that all day, but you could also decide to upgrade and get a more comfortable stock where you're gonna shoot better. And in my opinion, a cheek piece is great for a precise gun as well. If you're running like a 5.45 or something like that and you want to reach out and touch something, you have an LPVO on it, a cheek piece is a good addition to that, because then it gets you right in the spot where your eye needs to be. So I like the comfortability of it. I like the fact that it folds. That's pretty cool as well. The trigger was all right as far as the Wasser 10 goes, and the reliability was pretty excellent, I have to admit. We shot 120 rounds through, 80 PMC, right, and then 40 Silver Bear. So that wasn't bad. Silver Bear is meant to run in AKs, obviously, and it worked great. AKs are reliable and durable, so that's kind of what I expected. Recoil and pulse was pretty minimal, although I have to admit I wasn't prepared for it a couple of times for some reason, because it feels so much like an AR, and I'm so used to shooting 5.56 and 5.45 AKs that I was like, oh shit, this has some recoil, and I had to get back to clamping my gun. But the nice part about the rail is that you can get way out there, and that's the big benefit compared to the standard AK, is that you have no mounting accessories on it at all. And if you do put an Ultimac, you have to put your dot, you have to put your light in, you have to put your sling all in that little minimal space. Now that reduces some weight, but not really. I think the rail on this is like 10 ounces, so it's not much, and it gives you an added double amount of surface area if you want to put a grip, or if you like to run your sling further forward, or if you like to run your light further forward like I do. So if I had an Ultimac rail, I'd have to run my light all the way back here. And to me, that jumbles up everything so much, it just seems like such a clusterfuck that I prefer to have it exactly where I want it, and then I don't have to change my grip at all when I use the light, which is perfect for me for home defense. Because if I was going to use a rifle for home defense, it's got to have an aim point, it's got to have a Surefire Scout, and it's got to have a vert grip, because that's how I like to run my light, in which case I don't have to change my battery of arms or my the way I shoot at all to run this, aside from running the action. So very cool, well done by Midwest Industries. They make pretty good stuff normally, so I expected that with this. But so far, so good. If you want to see a full review of it, just like and subscribe. Stay tuned a few months, and it'll be here again. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please support your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.